Hey, thank you for clicking play on my consultation video here, but I do understand that if you're clicking on this, it means something is not right with your health, or maybe a loved one's health, and I'm sorry to hear that. And maybe you fall into one of these categories. Either you have no idea what's going on, you have severe health problems, and you're trying to find the root cause of that, and then look for safe and natural treatment options. Or maybe number two, you do know what you have, but you're wondering about what's the next best step using safe and natural nutritionals, vitamins, minerals, supplements, and therapies. Number three is maybe your medical doctor has diagnosed you, but you're not doing well on pharmaceuticals and you're looking for a natural treatment plan. Maybe the pharmaceuticals aren't working, maybe they're making you worse, or maybe when you stop them, everything comes back. And that's something common you see with kids with PANS and PANDAS, that they put them on antibiotics and steroids, everything calms down. But then once you stop the steroids, the inflammation goes back up. You stop the antibiotics, the infection rages again. And 2 weeks later, you're back where you started, and now you're looking for a new antibiotic. Or maybe you're in step 4 where you know something's wrong. You've been to your doctor and he gave you the dreaded, it's all in your head, and prescribed you some antidepressants. But the good news is I like helping people in all these situations, and I hope that I would be able to help you too. So who am I? Never introduced myself. My name is Matt Kelly. I am a detoxification specialist and functional health practitioner. And I say functional health instead of functional medicine because that makes people think pharmaceuticals and drugs, which have their time and place, but in long-term chronic conditions, things like that, they're not usually going to help and can often make things worse. So that's why I like functional health practitioner. I ended up in this industry because I myself had extreme health conditions, extreme gut and digestive issues that if I was going to leave the house for a few hours one day, I had to start prepping 2 days ahead of time to leave. It was awful. And without too much information, I had to prep ahead of time. And I spent nearly, at least 15 years in our medical system trying to figure out what was wrong. And at the end of it, when I made it to the pinnacle of our medical system, the gastroenterologist told me to drink lots of water and take Metamucil 3 times a day, and that's all they could do. And it was at that point I knew I had to start learning on my own because I was never going to heal if I didn't. So that's when I started training under a naturopath, and he taught me about the power of food, fasting and herbs. And then 9 months, not only was everything cleared up, but I had lost weight. My back pain was gone. I could run. I could play with our kids again. I was even doing handstands outside with the girls. It was crazy. So amazing healing happened. And while I love that, it also frustrated me that I had spent 15 plus years going to medical doctors with lots of colonoscopies, lots of snap checks, and was never told anything about how the body worked, what the root cause could be, or how to actually heal it. So that's what sent me down this road. And I continued my learning. And then our son came down with Lyme disease, co-infections, and mold toxicity. And that's what kind of pivoted me towards mold. Lyme, PANS, PANDAS, gut stuff is because I had a passion for that because of what our son went through. So quickly, he had extreme pain one night. We thought it was appendix. We spent months with Children's Hospital and doctors thinking it was something physical like that. But it turned out, well, according to them, it was all in his head as well, and made a recommendation to a pain clinic to learn to live with it. But the truth was, once I learned about functional medicine, muscle testing, and other great options, he had mold toxicity. His mycophenolic acid was over 500. His ochratoxin A was high. Other high mycotoxins. Then he had Borrelia, Babesia, Bartonella, Ehrlichia, Rickettsia, deer tick virus, which is Powassan virus lineage 2, which then led to a wrecked gut. So then he had H. pylori infection, E. coli infection, bacillus, staph, strep. Everything just went out of control. But according to our medical system, he was a, quote, healthy young man, and he was just nervous about school. So that's why I do what I do. I love helping kids. I have a lot of kid clients with all those different issues I just mentioned because kids are great. They respond well. They respond quickly if you do what you need to do quick enough. So that's who I am. That's how I got into this, and that explains my passion. So how do I help someone? What does a consultation look like? You're on my consultation page. What does it mean? So what I do, I spend a lot of time with you collecting your history, collecting your symptoms, and also doing assessment. And what the whole point of this is to find out all those little things to, make visible all those dots so that we can try to connect those dots. What do those dots point at? And the reason for pointing at the dots is if you don't know the root cause, those dots point out which functional labs we should run. Does it sound like heavy metals? Does it sound like Lyme? Does it sound like mold toxicity? Does it sound like parasites? Do we need to do the gut zoomer stool test to see what's happening in your digestion and if there's any critters in your gut there that we need to deal with? So the point of all that is to be able to make a good decision on what labs to run so we can find the root cause. You fix the root cause, everything downstream will end up going away. So this is why I'm a functional practitioner, because it's not about just band-aids over symptoms. And it's okay to treat symptoms as long as you know it's a band-aid and you're not actually fixing the root cause, because you do need a good quality of life while you're working on the root cause. So, but the goal is to find out what the root cause is. There's rarely just one, so that we can deal with that and knock out all these other symptoms that you're experiencing. So once we get the labs back, we see what's going on. We then figure out where you are. Have you been already working on yourself? Have you already been doing liver support, gut support, bile flow support, or are you starting from scratch? There's so many steps to a proper protocol in healing, and the order matters. I tell some people that if you had $1 million of top-end practitioner therapeutic supplements dropped on your doorstep, a lot of people still wouldn't get better, because you need to know the order to take them and why. Okay, so that's part of having a successful protocol is not just having good product, but knowing the order to do it. And if you haven't done anything yet, we're starting at the very bottom of the funnel. And by bottom, I do mean poop, because if you're not pooping, you are not getting those toxins out. Your liver's responsible for breaking down those toxins in your body, then puts them in the bile, goes to the gallbladder, which then puts it in the small intestine to go in your stool to get rid of it. But if you're not getting rid of it, what happens is that those toxins can then end up being reabsorbed through the intestinal wall, recirculated back to the liver, and it just keeps dealing with more and more as you accumulate more and more, and you're not eliminating. So there's a protocol to follow for everyone, and so we'd figure out where you are on that and start at the start. If you're super sensitive, great options for starting extremely tiny, or if you're able to take a good amount, we can just start from there and figure out what the next best step is. Now, that being said, there are some people I don't work with, and I'm sure it's not you. I'm sure you're awesome, but healing from chronic issues is not always easy. It's definitely not fun, and it's not always cheap. Like, some of these bottles of supplements do cost quite a bit of money, so you need to make sure you're following the protocol and doing what needs to be done to heal, and diet is included. Diet's 50% of it. If you're eating McDonald's and pizza and Coke and processed sugar every day, then you might as well save your money on the supplements, because it's not going to work. Okay, so sometimes, depending on what you're dealing with, big changes need to be made. So maybe your body can't take grains, maybe it can't take dairy. Nobody should be on processed sugar, but especially if you have chronic issues. So as we find things that would have to come out, if you're like, oh no, I can't give up my fill in the blank, then you're not going to be able to heal, and then I'm wasting my time with you, and you're not going to get better, so you're wasting your time and money. So that's someone I can't work with. I also can't work with someone who's not willing to invest in labs to find out what the root cause is. If we don't know the root cause, how can we target it efficiently? And we also now don't have a bar to measure progress by. For example, say you have mold toxicity, your ochratoxin A is the highest one, say it's at a 60. And 6 months later, we retest after following the protocol for 6 months, and you're now at a 20. Okay, but even at a 20, you still may be symptomatic. But we dropped 40, which is a huge shift in the right direction. But if you're still symptomatic and we don't have labs to confirm that what we're doing is working, you say, Matt sucks. And I go, just trust the process, because what we're doing is right. But if you have this bar to measure progress by, when you retest, you can see if what you're doing is right. And if it's not right, you can say, okay, let's pivot and let's make these changes. But if we can see that things are going in the right direction, even if you don't feel better immediately, you know that what you're doing is right. Keep going with it, and the healing is just around the corner. So that's the two reasons why we need labs and why I need people to be able to invest in those, so that we're not wasting time and money. The third person I can't work with is someone that's simply looking for a natural silver bullet. So, they, instead of doxycycline, they want to take an herbal antimicrobial mix and think they'll just jump to killing something. It doesn't work that way. To heal the body systemically from the bottom up, you need to support everything to get your immune system back up. Take off all the burdens that are on the immune system so that it can keep helping you as we go along. So that when you stop taking an antimicrobial, your immune system is already, working far better. And how does your immune system work better? It works by healthier mitochondria. It works by a healthier liver. It works by a functioning and moving lymphatic system. There's so many parts to this that you can't just swap out a pharmaceutical for an herb and think you're going to heal yourself. No, true healing comes from getting all the systems and organs in the body working right, working together, so that you can, when you stop things, that your body takes off where you left off. The point is not to be on supplements for the rest of your life. The point is to build up what your body's lacking, to take off the burden of what shouldn't be there, so that your body gets back to a state of homeostasis and can do what God built it to do. It's not to be on supplements, nutritionals, or pharmaceuticals for the rest of your life. So this video is about telling you who I am, how I work, how protocols work, and who I don't work with. So I hope I covered all those things for you. If I didn't, shoot me a message on my contact page or email me, matt@pharmacy.com, matt@pharmacy.com. But if everything here sounds good and you're someone that is ready to get better and willing to do what it takes to get better, awesome. Book a consultation with me. I'm excited to help you, because there's a process to follow, there's steps to do, we can find the root cause, and we can keep taking the next best step as you keep progressing on your journey to health. Hope that helps. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.